Hello and welcome. And in this video, I'm talking about how to use this short offer method that I'm about to share with you to sell more services, coaching, consulting, and perhaps even training if you're an expert. Now, one of the big challenges that I see with a lot of coaches and consultants in my day to day is that a lot of them are trying to, take things to that next level, but they're not actually selling anymore. And the reason for that is they're not creating offers, they're not creating meaningful offers. And the best way for you to take things to that next level is to test different offers. And not only today, I was speaking to my coaching clients and I was talking to them about creating better offers. And there is a correlation between the fact that the more offers you create, the more successful your business becomes. And there's a lot of businesses that go through this exercise. And what I wanted to share with you is how to actually construct an offer. And I'm going to take you through something that I call a hook offer, but I need to kind of preface it first with what is the hook? What is, this method? And so I'm going to share with you exactly what you can do in order to take things to the next level. So if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you're picking this up right now and you've got questions, please make sure that you ask any questions in a comment below this video. There may be some resources that I can recommend as well. So if you have got any questions, drop them in a comment below and I'll come straight to you. So I'm just making sure that we're live everywhere. Okay, so everything is coming through clearly. So let's get into it. So for those of you like watching, whether you're live or whether you're watching this on a replay, just let me know in a comment what type of business you have, whether it's consulting, coaching, and then what I can do is tailor some of this for you so that we can make sure that we're like super clear on what it is that you need to consider in order to create, more irresistible offers. So let's get into this. The first thing is we need to understand, who we are selling to. And most people know this, your niche. But what I want to get into more specifically is with your niche, we need to understand, well, what are the things that are going to trigger your niche to actually move forward? What are we going to use to get them to actually commit to moving things to that next level? So what I want to focus on here is, and I'm going to share my screen. Here we are. So I want to share a little method that I teach my clients. And this method is called the headline formula. And so you can just see it here. And I've got two parts of this. So we're going to focus on everything that, if I just get this back on, make sure we are, here we are. So everything above this orange line, like that's where I want to focus on first of all. So the headline formula, and let me make this a bit bigger for those of you watching as well. Hello, Piotr. Thank you very much for jumping in. Headline formula. So this headline formula is a cool way that I use and coach my clients on how to hook the attention of their niche. Now, it's very simple. It starts by having a starter. Now, for any good headline and a predictable headline, how to usually works, right? And there are different types of headlines that you can use. So, for example, on my book, I've got a number subheadline, which is the 10 step, which is a numbers. But I'd recommend to you, if you're just getting familiar with headlines or you're just taking your headlines to the next level, focus on like a how-to headline. I'll explain a bit more. So for instance, the starter, which is what I'm talking about here. Let me just find a color so I can highlight clearly. We'll use yellow. So the starter, which is on the left-hand side over here, that needs to be like how to, or how I, or how we, as in, you, your clients. It can also be things like what or why, but I'd recommend that you start with the how. The how, when you use a how-to headline, it indicates a solution is going to be given, and it's the best one to use just to get things going. You can then move into things like numbers, which is, like I said, on the bottom of my book. The one that I'm using is the 10-step marketing manifesto. So I'm using numbers there. But what you want to use is to understand how to trigger people. So once you've got a how-to, you then need to identify who, and who is your niche, right? So the niche is who you are targeting, and it should be specific, guys. And if it's not specific, that usually gives you an indication that perhaps your niche isn't really niche and it's more just a general target audience. The next thing in the headline, you're going to have a verb, and a verb is like a doing word. So for example, if we just take those 3 steps. So here, for example, I'm going to start with the starter. How these coaches, or how these business coaches are able. So able is the verb. So we've got the starter, which is how these coaches, which is like a variation of the how-to headline. The who, business coaches or coaches, and then the verb is able. And we can use many different types of verbs. And then what we want to get to is the want. And the want is the desire of your audience. So you've really got to understand the desires of your audience. Like, what do they want when you fix the problem, that you're there to serve them with? For example, let's use all four. How these business coaches are able to generate 20 times more leads. There it is. That's the first part of the headline. So then what we want to do is then use the next part. And from there, we start to dive into what are the things they don't want to do. Yeah. So without, right? So we've got the first part, which is business coaches who want to be able to generate 20 times more leads without having to do funnels, automation, technical things with their marketing, right? So that would cover without and the things they don't want to do. And then what you can do to really ramp things up when it comes to your headlines is add even if and start to load in their objections. Even if you've done this before, even if you've tried Facebook ads, even if you've tried marketing your coaching business, right, and it hasn't worked out. So then we come up with a really powerful way, a headline formula to hook people in. So let me just come back on screen and just kind of take you through what we've done there. So what I've taken you through with that method, and for those of you, like I say, watching on the replay, you're probably following this along. Anybody who just jumped on right now, we're just talking about how to create better offers, like short, powerful offers that I call hook offers. But I prefaced it with the formula that I use to create headlines, because a headline grabs attention. But what if you could use a headline method like structure in order to attract people to buy or get something from you, to raise their hand and say, I'm interested in that thing, whether it's your coaching, your mentoring, your training, your consulting, whatever that thing is, right? So now that we understand what the steps are in order to create a hook, we've got to actually put some bait on the hook, to use a fishing analogy. So now that we understand how to create the hook, now we put the bait, and the bait between me and you is your offer. So what we need to do is look at the hook offer. Right, if you missed the first part of this, guys, anybody jumping on live, just go back to it, the replay after we finish. But now we're going to go into the offer, and then I'm going to show you some examples of what you can do in order to create your hook offers. Because the more offers you put out, and I'll just say this again, there is a direct correlation to the more offers that you put out, the more successful your business becomes. Most people, coaches, consultants, suffer from the fact that they don't put enough offers out there, and the offers they do put out there are weak. And I learned this particular thing from one of my clients, one of my coaches, I'm saying clients, one of my coaches, Alex Becker, a very famous guy. He sold his business recently for over $100 million. And in one of his trainings, he talks about this method called baking muffins. And I talk about this so much to my clients, which is, don't bake the whole cake. Don't create the online course, the coaching course, and like a full-blown offer, only to find out that it's not strong enough and people don't want it. Right. So what you do, instead of baking the whole cake, you put out muffins, meaning smaller offers, smaller ways for people to be enticed into what it is that you have. Hey, Joe, thank you very much. I can see you watching as well. And that's the key. You need to put these muffins out there, different offers daily, to test your audience, to test the market. So let me take you through what this hook offer method is. And there's something really cool that I want to share with you guys. For those of you who will be joining me on my upcoming workshop, my Ads to Clients workshop, which is the workshop covering how to create Facebook ads that will consistently build you an audience of ready to buy leads on a £7 a day budget, or $7 or €7. It's taking place on the 24th of October. I currently have a 25% off deal. The early bird tickets finished yesterday, I believe, or the day before, can't remember. But I do have a 25% off rate right now. And look, the workshop is super cheap. It's only like £40 already. So you'll get another £10 off. So it's like 30. And I've got 4 more spaces to go. So if you are a coach, consultant, or trainer, and you want to be able to generate more leads, grow your audience at the same time, I'd recommend you join me on this workshop. It's only 3 hours long. But like I said, I do have the offer. So if you do want to come along and you want the offer code for that, just comment below this video with the word ads, and I'll make sure you get that 25% off deal. So let me take you through this hook method, the offer method. Right. So as I mentioned, the first thing with creating a hook offer is to first understand the headline formula, which I just gave you a moment ago. But now we understand how to hook people, we're going to put the bait on, which is your offer. The first thing is you need a promise, and the promise is something that you should be able to say, and I'm going to make sure I use one of my examples. It should be a clear one sentence promise. It shouldn't be you promising everything and all the amazing other things that you do. It's a clear one sentence promise, right? So for example, you are going to say something along the lines of, here's the example: if I offered to build you an ad strategy that will 30 to 40x your messenger conversations in the next 3 days, that would be a promise, right? It's a clear one sentence promise. So when you're looking at putting your offers together, you've got to be super clear on like, what's the promise that you can offer your audience, right? The next thing that you want is benefit, right? So we've just covered, let me just make sure I'm following along. So we've done promise. The next thing you want is benefit number one. And number one is usually like, what is the primary benefit of the offer? Now, you can use this offer if you're selling coaching programs, mentoring programs, courses, workshops. Even if you're just offering a lead magnet, you can use this structure for any type of those offers or any of those offers. So you got your first benefit. If you don't understand what a benefit is, how does the thing that you're offering make it either faster, saving time, easier, quality of life or business, time, quality, or saves or produces money, right? Those are the three main ones that you need to think about when it comes to benefits. So we've got benefit one and benefit two. And as I said, I'm going to give you some examples in a moment, guys, just to kind of make this super easy. And then the next thing you want is without, right? And the without, as we mentioned a moment ago, the without should be without the things that they don't want to do. So what would be like the three things that your niche don't want to do in relation to the problem that you're going to help them to fix with your course, workshop, or coaching or services, right? So now that we've identified the without, we then need an even if. Now, the even if we go back to the headline formula that I mentioned earlier, is objections. So what we're going to say here is even if, and whatever objections they would throw at you, usually, meaning I've tried something like this in the past and it didn't work out, or these type of things never work for me because, you know, it's just too difficult, or let's think of another objection, or I don't have the money, right? People may have the money, but they just don't believe in whatever it is enough, or themselves for that matter, to then step forward. So you've got your even if, right? So we covered that. And then the final piece is the call to action. And the call to action is, do you want it? Here's the link. Click the link to get the thing, right? And that's it. This is called the hook offer. So now you're probably thinking, well, what does that actually look like, Leon? You know, and so I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So just give me a second, guys. I'm going to load one up in the background, and I'm just going to take you through this. Just bear with me. Going down. Okay, so we've got a couple here, but there's one specific one. I'm just making sure it's loading up for you guys so I can share it. Right, so let me share my screen. Here it is. Screen share. So I'm going to stop that one, and I'm going to present and share my full screen over here. And entire screen. Right, so what you should be seeing, and hopefully everybody is seeing, my Facebook profile, and I'm just going to take you through and show you exactly one of these types of offers. So just give me a second, guys. And here's the cool thing, and this is what I want you to take away from this, guys. And I'm just going to switch screens for a second. It might seem like you've seen lots of me's. Yeah, that's right. I just wanted to make sure my screen's sharing clearly. Now, here's the cool thing, guys. Everything that I've just taken you through, I'm going to zoom in so we can see that easier. Zoom in. There we are. So the first part of this post, and like, guys, I'd even recommend copy my post, copy my offer, and test this for yourself over the next week. Like, do 3 variations of it and just post it out, you know, every other day or every day, doesn't really matter, and just test it. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. You can do a video version as well if you want to put it on YouTube or TikTok and just test it. But here's what I want to share with you. The first part is the promise, right? And I just want to make this super clear. The promise gives a desired outcome that I know my niche are looking for, right? Which is to be able to run Facebook ads on a £7 a day budget, right? And to grow their audience. And then there's something specific I want you to see. There is also a time frame. hours, weeks, days, months, or years. When you state your promise, always attach it to a connected time, right? So again, hours, days, weeks, months, or years. Let people know in what time frame they can expect that desired outcome, the promise, to happen. So I hope that makes sense. So then as we move down, benefit 1, that allows you to increase your messenger conversations by 30x. Benefit number 2 is simple enough for any coach or VA to implement. And then we've got the without part, which is without the things that they don't want to do, which is all this stuff here. And you can see I've added a few things because the kind of coaches that I work with, there's a number of things usually they don't want to do, right? Or they'd rather not have to do. Yeah. And then we've got the even if. And the even if, remember, is where you put the objections, the potential objections. Look, so in this one, it says, even if you've tried Facebook ads before and it hasn't worked out. And then the call to action, would you want the details? So I'm going to stop sharing. So that's the example, guys. And like, I'd recommend you go back over this video, pause it, check it through, copy it, and then create your own offer and test it. Now, the hook offer works so powerfully because it's short. It doesn't take much brain power to think it through, like literally 15 to 30 minutes and you're done. You've created an offer, right? For your coaching, your consulting, your online course, or whatever it is, your training, yeah? The key here is that you're able to get your offers out at speed, right? I see a lot of people who get bogged down and say, well, I need to put my offer on a web page, or I need to put my offer in a funnel, or I need to put my offer in some technical, difficult thing. And like, it slows you down. Just get the things out and test if your current audience are open to your offers or interested, right? Now, if you go back to, or if I take you back to an example of a top marketing sales guru who came up with this statistic, it was Chet Holmes, and I do reference him in my book, and I just wanted to see if I could find the page that I refer to. And there's this thing that he talks about called the customer buying pyramid, and that's really what I want to mention to you is this: for every 100 people that come across you, right, there's always 3% of that audience who are buying. So for every 100, there's always 3 people buying, but it's your job to put an offer good enough in front of them to entice them, right? There's always another 6 to 7% who are open to an offer. So you could take your audience and move them from 3 people to 10 people if you had 100 people. Now, if you've got 5,000 connections, 20,000 connections on LinkedIn or Facebook or on these platforms, just think about it like that. How many of those people can you convert to raising their hands who want to take you up on your offer? And that's the cool thing about this. The more offers you can get out at pace, the more opportunities you have to speak to people who actually want to buy something from you or take you up on one of the things that you have, like a lead magnet or something like that. So test this, guys. I hope this has been useful. If you've got any questions, as I mentioned, comment below. If you've got something specific to your business or your business model, comment below and I'll answer you directly. On that note, guys, get yourself out there with more offers. For those of you on YouTube, please remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye-bye.